Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates' physical body might reside in the present, but his brain lives in the future. The billionaire philanthropist has made a career out of predicting what will happen in matters of computing, public health, and the environment. Clearly, the technology genius has turned out to be even more of a visionary than anyone could have realized decades ago. Bill Gates' predictions have turned out to be eerily accurate, although many of these ideas probably seemed totally off the wall at the time. He correctly predicted the rise of smartphones and social media, and a wealth of evidence suggests his latest predictions could be on the right track as well. According to Bill Gates, the following predictions are revealed. Airborne pathogen could kill millions. In February, Bill Gates remarked at a conference in Munich, Germany that one of the biggest threats to global health is an airborne pathogen deployed by bioterrorists. It could be a synthetic smallpox virus or a superflu that is far deadlier than normal strains. Rapid advances in genetic engineering have opened the door for small terrorism groups to tailor and easily turn biological viruses into weapons. Bill Gates also stated that developments in genetic engineering were proceeding at a mind-blowing rate. Biological warfare ambitions once limited to a handful of nation-states are now open to small groups with limited resources and skills. Mr. Gates said the potential death toll from a disease outbreak could be higher than other threats such as climate change or nuclear war. Epidemiologists say there is a reasonable probability the world will experience such an outbreak in the next 10-15 years, Gates noted. In just a year, the right pathogen could wipe out 33 million people. For this reason, Gates and his foundation have made widespread vaccination one of their top priorities around the world. Whether naturally occurring or deliberately started, it is almost certain that a highly lethal global pandemic will occur within our lifetimes, he believes. Getting ready for a global pandemic is every bit as important as nuclear deterrence and avoiding a climate catastrophe. Robots will take your job. According to Gates, over the next 20 years, warehouses and factories across the country are poised to replace human workers with automated robots. The resultant loss to the labor force could be in the thousands, if not millions, depending on which industries automate jobs the most. His vision for this future involves essentially taxing the robots who perform this labor, in order to preserve the income tax you'd otherwise get from a human. As automation threatens the existence of millions of jobs across the U.S., some career paths are more robot-proof than others. For example, cashiers face a bleaker future, with a 97% chance of being replaced. Roughly 6 million to 7.5 million retail jobs likely will be automated out of existence in the coming years. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report predicts that 5 million jobs will be lost by 2020 as AI, robotics, nanotechnology and other socio-economic factors replace the need for human workers. Polio eradicated by 2019. By last count in 2016, the world saw just 37 new cases of polio. That's down from more than 400 in the late 1980s. Only a few hundred cases remain around the world, and Gates is hopeful the disease will become the second disease, after smallpox, to disappear for good. The virus, which invades the nervous system and can cause irreversible paralysis within hours, spreads rapidly among children, especially in unsanitary conditions in war-torn regions, refugee camps and areas where healthcare is limited. Bill Gates stated that the global polio community is now finalizing a detailed plan that he believes should allow us to finish the job of polio eradication within the next 2 years. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the last two countries where polio currently remains endemic. Success would make polio only the second human disease to be eradicated since smallpox was banished in 1980. Africa becomes self-sufficient. In his 2015 Gates annual letter, Gates made the prediction that Africa's agriculture industry will increase productivity by 50% by 2030, making the entire continent self-sufficient. Currently, the continent imports roughly $50 billion worth of food each year, despite the fact that 70% of residents in sub-Saharan Africa are farmers. According to the multi-billionaire, in the next 15 years, however, innovations in farming will erase these brutal ironies. The world has already developed better fertilizer and crops that are more productive, nutritious, and drought and disease resistant. With access to these and other existing technologies, African farmers could theoretically double their yields. An African agricultural revolution is within reach, provided the continent can focus on supporting small-scale farmers to help meet national and regional demand for food. Solar energy will power the entire world by 2030. One of Gates' more hopeful predictions came in 2017 when he declared that wind, solar, or some other renewable resource will power the majority of the world within the next 13 years. Many of the poor countries he visited had no running water or electricity. At night, this meant they couldn't light or power their homes, keep businesses open, or run vital medical centers. If the world can find a source of cheap, clean energy, it will do more than halt climate change, he wrote. It will transform the lives of millions of the poorest families. Of all the renewable energy sources we have to choose from, solar power has by far the most potential to supply all our energy needs into the foreseeable future. That's because it's practically infinite. It comes from the sun, the largest power source in the solar system, and the sun isn't going anywhere for billions of years. Now we are in the midst of a solar power revolution that promises to change the world in much the same way as computers have. Our time on this planet is a finite resource, but the choices we make now will determine whether or not it is renewable. Global poverty eliminated by 2035. In his 2014 annual letter, Gates boldly predicted that continued levels of foreign aid could mean there will be almost no more poor countries by 2035. His foundation has since expressed concern over the Trump administration's foreign aid budget, but believes the math should still work out. Almost all countries will be what we now call lower middle income or richer, Gates explained. Countries will learn from their most productive neighbors and benefit from innovations like new vaccines, better seeds, and the digital revolution. In his 2015 newsletter, Bill Gates says, the lives of people in poor countries will improve faster in the next 15 years than at any other time in history, and he places access to banking services near the top of the list for why this will be the case. The push for environmental sustainability has brought some 2.6 billion people access to improved drinking water since 1990. Meaning that the target of having the proportion of people without access to improved sources of water was achieved in 2010, 5 years ahead of schedule. However, 663 million are still without improved drinking water. Let's see what the future reveals.